now just working with without going into Project Education Plus and basketball. In education, if you had to tell others who maybe are in this field of education and teaching, with your vast experience, what would be some, like 3 to 5 tips that you would say educators should think about this or keep this in mind to maybe, connecting with the kids or just, professional development suggestions? What would be your tips and advice for an individual who has, been dealing with kids and still are for about 35? I mean, you're a young looking guy, but 30, about 30 years.
Yeah, I wish. So I think the first thing about being in education is you're wanting to enlighten youth. You got to be someone who's willing to take the kids from point A and getting them to point B. Because all the kids you get don't come in with the same background. So I think that's kind of why the high school teachers sometimes have more trouble than the elementary school teachers. And I know the high school teachers think that the elementary school teachers just baby the kids. Well, yeah, but you know, for high school, if you have a if you go and you major in science and you major in biology and you're a good biology major, then they stick you in a high school with kids that could care less about the long words that they can't pronounce in biology. Then that becomes sort of a conflict. And so I think that you have to really want to work with the kids and get them to the next level. Like, I morphed from being just a regular math teacher in elementary school into teaching algebra. And I remember even at Bond, we had this whole disagreement about whether we should teach algebra. Well, the board said they were going to make all the eighth grade kids do algebra. So I thought that's perfect. We could teach algebra to all the kids in seventh, eighth grade. And everybody thought I was crazy. And I might have been, but I proved to them that you could teach anybody algebra. And we taught algebra and our math scores were very good. And I think the whole part of that was I was determined to show them that if you just get the right teaching and you have the right attitude, and I think that works better. And I think you got to like kids. And yeah, some days it's like I'm about to throw one of them out the window. And then the next day I'm hugging them. I said, that's kids, right? and so I think that that's the first tip. Don't go into education just because, it pays well and you get good benefits. And you're off in the summertime. So that's all, so I think a lot of people kind of get sucked into that a little bit. Um, and you're not going to always get notoriety. So it's just like any other, what am I looking for? Just like any other city job that you work with the public, police department, not so much the fire department. Everybody loves a fireman, but the police department, the teachers, things like that, where you have to work with the kids. You get all the blame when things don't go right. You don't get any of the love when things do go right. And you usually just wait for people to, it's always great when the kids come back and they show that, that they learned something. And the other thing I'll say is that you just got to teach the kids and get away from their personalities. I've seen many kids who were like honor roll students all through school and turn out not so good. And then I've seen some kids who like, oh my goodness, how did you ever, how did you ever make it? It's not, you're not going to make it. I'm like, oh, let's just keep teaching them and we'll see what happens. And now they're like, really special.
But
Quick
you say,
story on that.
oh, Chris, go ahead.
No, I
Oh,
was
go
going to say a
ahead.
quick story on that. I broke my leg at school playing volleyball and the teacher student. One of the teachers ran into my leg
Oh,
and I stayed the whole day. We had this, teacher student. It was the last day before Christmas break and I broke my leg. So I just stayed at school because you know me, I'm gonna sit down and put some ice on it. Okay,
right.
I recognized I'm older. So let me go sit my old behind down and I took my son. So, it was a relaxful day because it's the last day before Christmas break. So I put some ice on, I go to class, I teach my classes, and then at the end of the day, I look at my leg and it's like swollen up, like just huge. I can't even move it. So, the principal was on my case about, why don't we just let us take this? So I was like, no, I refuse to, well, leave your car here. We'll take, no, I'm not getting an ambulance. I'm not doing any of that. I'll just call one of my students. They'll come over and drive me to the hospital. I'll go. So I broke my leg. And so I think the fact that everybody kind of came around and, and worked together around this leg thing, I mean, being hard headed, that showed that the kids were upset and, those kind of things show that, what happens. Anyway, I'm at the hospital and I'm laying there on they got you laying with the leg up, before, so the doctor comes in and he says, hold on, didn't you used to work at Boston? And I'm like, yeah, I worked at Boston. I was in your class. And I looked at him and said, I hope I did a damn good job. We just fell out laughing. So we were talking, what year were you there? And it was just so, so like I said, you never know the impact that you have on people. And so I just thought that was funny. Yeah, I looked at him. I'm like in pain. I'm like, just whatever you do, just don't cut it off. And then, so that's, so I think that's part of, I'm not saying that he was bad, but, just regular students that you didn't know that maybe you had an impact on. And I think that's what keeps you going.